Hello and welcome to another episode of Sport and Pastime. I am Faisal Sharif and welcome to the IPL edition 18. It's now eligible to vote if it were a person. So, Prem, what about that? 18 years of IPL.
18 years of IPL, yes, but what I'm thinking about right now is there goes 2 months of my life I'm not going to get back.
It'll be well
So,
worth it, Prem. It'll be well worth it.
yeah,
You've seen already three games and the magic and madness has begun.
yeah, true. Except, yeah, these damn games that go on till 11, 11:15 and all that is completely crazy, but it's what it is,
Yeah,
and we've been there before. So, yeah,
correct. So, what did you think of the game? We got Thalaiva to come out for two balls, Mr. MS Dhoni, but Rachindra is another frame of mind. I think he missed out on a very important part that they wanted Dhoni to finish off the match and win it against Mumbai Indians. And yeah, that was a bit disappointing.
yeah, you could say that, or you could say that Ravindra was a bit scared that Dhoni might try to play a shot and get out, which would have been a dampener for the Chennai crowd. I think they prefer Dhoni to be at the crease more than they want to win the match itself. So, yeah. But yeah, hard lines for Mumbai Indians because you're missing Jasprit Bumrah. That's not an easy, gap to fill. And on top of
That's
that, you're
true.
missing Hardik Pandya in this match. And you have a record of never winning your first match in an IPL anyway. So, but interesting find that boy Vignesh Putur.
Oh, it's
Uh,
fantastic. He's from your
yeah,
state.
yeah. My state has the knack of producing players for all other states except mine.
But this boy is amazing. I mean, the way he is deceptive with his googly was amazing. It comes in so quickly. I don't think there's any time for the batsman to even read it, whether it's a regular, the Chinaman or he's just bowling the googly was amazing.
Yeah, his arm speed is at the point of delivery is what I think is causing all the problems because you don't have time to see how much of the ball is outside. With the leg break, you'll see a lot more of the ball surface.
Correct.
I saw a split screen version. There's very little time for you to pick whether there's a sufficient amount of the ball being shown or whether it's a googly coming. It's crazy. I like the fact that Mumbai Indians finds these talents but also nurtures them. There was that mention during the commentary of how they sent him to South Africa as a
Yeah.
net bowler for the Mumbai Indians in South Africa, and yeah, so
You have to give it to Mumbai Indians, Prem. Their scouting system is the best. I think it's similarly, in fact, much better than, what BCCI used to have almost, I think, what, 18, 19 years ago, the talent resource development
yeah,
wing that they had created, which Dilip Vengsarkar was heading. So, in fact, Mr. Kiran More is also one of the members of that scouting team, which goes around the country, in fact, goes around the world looking at all leagues, small leagues, and finding talent like this. I mean, to pick a boy like that who's barely played, I think, 3 or 4 games, hasn't played any competitive, hasn't finished a season, to throw him
yeah.
at the deep end against a CSK like team, I think it was phenomenal. I think it really takes a lot. And for that, you have to give Mumbai Indians they can really take a bow on the way they've gone about getting talent. I mean, imagine this boy has just picked up Gaikwad, Deepak Huda, and Shivam Dubey. I mean,
From Dubai, yeah.
dream debut.
Out of which two are brilliant players of spin, Gaikwad and Dubey. So yeah, absolutely stunning. That was, I think, pretty much the talking point of and that stumping that MS Dhoni pulled off at the age of
Oof,
43. Reflexes like that, that is insane. Those barely.
it's
I
just
I saw a
unbelievable.
graphic. Yeah, it's a 0.12 seconds reaction time for the stumping. That's like crazy. One of the things about Dhoni that I like is most wicket keepers take the ball in front and then pull the hand back to settle it properly, and then the hand has to move forward again. Dhoni doesn't. He just keeps his hand there, lets the ball rest, and in that same moment, it goes towards the stumps. It's he's probably the only wicketkeeper who does that consistently. and it saves them that fraction of a second, which makes all the difference in a close
All the
stumping.
difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really phenomenal. That was really phenomenal. But did you expect Mumbai Indians to cave in so easily? I mean, it didn't seem that they were really standing up for a fight. I mean, 155 after, Tilak Varma was in such amazing form for India just recently in the England
Yeah.
T20s. Yadav was in good form, but I mean, they had to depend on a Deepak Chahar to get them to 150.
I think two things that Mumbai Indians probably didn't bargain for. One was the way Khalil Ahmed bowled at the top of the innings, and the other was Noor Ahmed, who was,
Yeah,
absolutely perfect with his lines, lengths. I mean, in any T20 game, for you to get 4 for 18 in your 4 overs, that's quite something.
that
I
is.
thought, yeah, I thought those two things they didn't expect, and that took them by surprise.
It was good to
Why was
see.
that? No, I think
Sorry.
at some point we'll talk about this whole impact sub. But curiously, Rohit Sharma is rested or is substituted out. I thought that was, and there was a visual of him sitting in the dressing room, making changes in the field and using a MCBC thing saying why are they not seeing it? They need a fielder here and all of that. It was, yeah. Anyway,
He was
little
getting
things.
restless. He was getting restless. You could see
Yeah.
that. Yeah, you could see that. But looks like this just actually augurs very well for the IPL edition because the last time Mumbai and Chennai both did very badly, really, really badly. And I think
Yeah.
with them looking such in such good form once Bumrah and Hardik is back, I think the energy in the MI team will be very different. And with this new
Completely.
find, looks like Mumbai will have a good. I think it'll have a good season compared to what they did the last time round.
Last time.
But
Yeah.
what did you make of the opening game, KKR versus RCB? I saw another RCB altogether. I mean, halfway through when their bowlers started getting hit, I thought RCB was doing what RCB is good at doing. But the way they pulled back was phenomenal. I think I really liked the way they pulled back.
Yeah, I think, I mean, at the top of the order they have a few problems with their bowling. Josh Hazelwood is the one impactful bowler they have for pace, but I thought, I mean, Krunal Pandya again. He doesn't look like much. His bowling doesn't look like much, but he consistently has this thing of he's very economical and he manages to take wickets. Probably one causes the other because he's so economical and his ball doesn't turn much. He's not trying any fancy stuff. You think you can go after him, and you keep losing wickets to him.
Yeah,
But yeah, I thought, yeah, RCB looked a different side. It makes a difference when Kohli comes out and decides that he's not going to settle in and all that. He's going to go from the get go onwards. But I think the biggest talking point in that particular match for me was something that Ajinkya Rahane said after the match. He said that he wishes that the Eden Gardens wicket, which is their home ground for the KKR, he said he wishes that it would assist spin a little bit more. Sunil Narayan and Varun Chakravarti were both sort of neutered by that particular wicket,
yeah,
and
yeah,
when that happens, KKR, uh, that's a huge blow for KKR. There's no way they are coming
yeah.
back.
But I
So
think more than the wicket, I think it was the assault that Salt launched on them. That
yeah,
I think for the first time I saw, the spinners really. I think they were like, really wondering what hit them because they've always had it very easy at the Eden Gardens, but this one was I think Salt was phenomenal. I think this is his sixth or seventh consecutive tall score for his team. I mean, he's just moved from the other team and come into
yeah,
RCB colors, but he's had a very good run in the IPL. I mean, he was a disaster with the England team, which toured
exactly.
India, but he was phenomenal. I don't know what it takes for them to do that.
Yeah, but again, I mean, to go back to that point about spin, and I agree. Salt's early blitz was I mean, it would put any team onto the back foot. But what I noticed was they brought in Varun Chakravarti early in the power plays against Salt, and the first ball I think was hit back past the bowler, over the bowler for a four or a six, I forget what. But what I noticed was that entire over, the ball was just coming straight through. Varun was doing what
Yeah.
Varun normally does. You could see his hand moving this way, that way. The wrist was, he was looking for turn. Nothing was happening off the deck. And once that happens, Varun is just a straight bowler who you can take down. Sunil Narayan actually, even when the wicket is not turning, he manages to at least be economical and he'll pick up the odd wicket here and there. Varun Chakravarti needs some assistance from the wicket, otherwise
Yeah.
he's gone. So be
And
interesting to
Sunil is
see what
also
kind of
not what.
wickets.
Yeah, and Sunil is also not what he used to be. I think he's still in the team because now he gives KKR such an amazing option as an opener that his
Yeah,
utility is now as an all-rounder. I think just on the basis of his bowling alone, I think he might not make it to all the games of a single edition because he's kind of lost that zip that he used to have. And I think it's been so many seasons now. I think the
yeah,
opposition has kind of read him. He is a bit predictable now. They've
yeah.
kind of gotten used to him. But
And they've
the
also.
one that really stood out for me, Prem, sorry, you were saying something?
No, I said also, as much as they've figured him out, the other thing I think about Sunil Narayan is they've figured that if you just knock him around, at least in 4 overs, you will get two, three boundary balls, and the rest you can just knock him around without too much of risk.
Right,
And
right.
there are enough bowlers to go after. So yeah, I think that's going to be a problem for KK. I think the single biggest problem they're going to have is they need to decide, given the composition of their side, they're going to need tracks that are slower, that give some turn. Without that, they're
Yeah,
going to struggle in home games. And if you struggle in home games, then you're dead in the
yeah,
IPL.
that's true. Because the opposition, knowing that they're going to struggle if they don't get the wickets that turn, they'll probably go with seaming tracks, and that'll make it very tough for KKR.
Yeah,
And they're defending their title, so the teams are going to go harder at them.
yeah. Talking of defending the title, I think the team that should have won the title last time and my favorite for this competition is started off the way they expected to start off, SRH.
They're crazy.
So
What's going on with them? They're phenomenal. I mean, they had a new star today. It's
I'll
just
do
unbelievable the
one
way
bit,
Ishan Kishan went about.
yeah, but I'll do one bit of devil's advocacy though. I think that
Mm-hmm.
286 that they scored was about 30 runs were at least 30 runs were gifted, which brings their score to about 250, 255, and Royals almost hunted that score down. I'll tell you why that gifting thing came to my mind. Right at the beginning, there was this moment when the ball went right through the legs of Yashasvi Jaiswal. Then you had Faruqi twice palming the ball over the ropes, once at the point boundary and once on the other side at deep
Yeah,
mid wicket. You had Jofra Archer bowling. I mean, his bowling today was pathetic, and it shows in
taken
the
apart.
numbers. Yeah, but you remember that beamer that he bowled at Ishan Kishan, which ended up giving 5 runs. If you total up all that, that's
Yeah.
almost 20 already, and there were lots of little misfields. I think a large part of why SRH got to where. But the thing that struck me is six batsmen played a significant number of balls, out of which Aniket Verma only played three. But all the others played a significant number of balls. If you leave out Pat Cummins and who else was it, who got out first ball. The scary statistic is that the slowest of the six batsmen on view, his strike rate was 200. Nitish Kumar Reddy.
Yeah,
You had Klassen
that's
going at
crazy.
242.8. You had Ishan Kishan going at 225.5. You had Abhishek Sharma going at 218. It's insane. I mean, if your slowest batsman is scoring at 2 runs per ball or something,
It's
that's
crazy.
insane.
I
Yeah,
mean, Ishan Kishan's innings of that 106, which he made, I think, in 47 balls or something, it shadows Travis Head's innings, actually. It was a phenomenal innings. 31 balls, he got that 67. He was flying. I think if he hadn't gotten
yeah,
out, he would have had another 100 on Indian soil. It was just phenomenal the way he was going after the bowling. But speaking of Ishan Kishan, I just realized here's a guy who's got a 200 in one day cricket. I mean, we
Yeah,
completely forgot about him and thought that he was done with. And he's come back screaming that, I'm adding to the pressure on the bench. And,
yeah,
there's so much talent now. That's really heartening to see Ishan Kishan, because now we have so many wicket keeping options and everyone can score at 200, 250. And that's just phenomenal. I think he could be the missing cog in, what SRH lacked the last time when they couldn't finish the
yeah.
final off. I think this guy could be the difference.
And talking of wicket-keeping batsmen who can score at 200 plus, the Sanju Samson also showed that, you know,
Oof,
for all
yeah,
that you keep, yeah, for all that you have Shubman Gill and all that opening for India, there is Sanju Samson who's actually scoring much faster than Shubman, for instance. Uh,
yeah.
this innings, Dhruv Jurel was again another person who can keep wickets and bat. Uh,
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm saying. The
yes.
options are unlimited. But there was one short innings, Prem, we should remember that. Shubham Dubey, did you see him play?
Oh yeah,
He
yeah, yeah,
hit four sixes. I mean, it was a losing cause, and we knew that it wasn't going anywhere. But there was this one six that he hit, pure timing.
yeah,
Um, through extra cover. I think it was just phenomenal, that shot. There was no power, it was pure timing, and that too, he was hitting it off Pat Cummins. And I
yeah,
think there's something special in that boy, the way he was playing. I think I'm really going to look forward to what he does in the rest of the IPL. He's quiet. He didn't look like he was going to do anything much, and there he was, four sixes, and he was scoring, I think, at 300. His strike rate was 300
yeah,
something.
something like
It
that.
was
Yes,
phenomenal. Yeah, he was really, really
yeah,
good. But do you
yeah.
think
And in any
SRH
case,
has bowling problems, Prem?
I think so. I mean, if they seem to, I think they will do decently well in wickets where they can take the pace off. But on these kind of batting wickets, I think they'll struggle. Pat Cummins is going around the park. They're looking for that one impact bowler, and it's very hard to see who that could possibly be. Yeah, I think one of the reasons why they need these 280s and 290s and all of that, I saw, who was it? I think Dale Steyn saying that he's going to be there for the next SRH game because he thinks that that is when the 300 will be broken. They need these 300s because they can't trust their bowlers to defend 250.
Yeah. Surprising
So,
stat, Prem. I don't know if you got a chance to see it, but last season, SRH, of course, were on top with, in the first 10 in power play. They go at
yeah,
almost 11. They go at a good 8, 9 in the middle over, 7 to 15. But they're terrible in 16 to 20. I mean, they
oh
are
yeah,
the second lowest. Last year, they were like at 10, 10, 10.6, while, RCB and all were going at 12, 12 and a half. KKR were going at 12 and a
yeah,
half. So that could be a thing. But here it looks like, if you look at this graphic here, I mean, they're all over.
it's crazy.
250 is like par score. It's crazy. What are they doing?
Yeah.
What are they doing right, Prem? I mean, I'm really trying to put my finger on it. I mean, Abhishek and Head is the easy answer, that they just slaughter the bowling in the first 6 overs. But I mean, something's really going on. They've cracked the code. Looks like.
I think, yeah, there is the whole thing of Abhishek. Abhishek Sharma is a very underrated opening batsman. I think he is outstanding.
Yeah.
Bats with such fluency, such ease. Travis Head, for some reason, loves the IPL. Every time he comes in, he just starts scoring runs, irrespective of this thing. And he's a very difficult batsman to contain. It's one thing to bowl to him in Test matches or in ODIs and T20s with the kind of restrictions you have. It's incredibly difficult to bowl to him. Normally, your get out of jail ball for a bowler is trying to bowl a bit wide of off stump, keep it out of the batsman's reach because you're looking at batsmen hitting across the line. This guy slaughters anything that's outside the off stump. You can't bowl to him on the
Yeah.
stumps because he'll swing you on the leg side. So where are you going to bowl to him is something that no team has cracked so far. But I think the thing about SRH is they've been given permission to go,
Yeah.
nuts from ball one. Every batsman you saw, there was no such thing as. In fact, I think the only batsman who took a couple of balls to settle in, for want of a better word, was Abhishek Sharma, who played two dot balls before he whacked that third ball.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
they just come, and I think When we will know if they've cracked the code or not is if and when they lose a couple of wickets early. I want to see if then Ishan Kishan will then start playing a holding operation, because you'll
Yeah.
have Nitish Reddy will come and he'll also have to play slightly within himself. You lose another
Klassen
wicket.
will be Klassen. Klassen
Yeah,
will be
exactly.
Klassen. I don't think he will.
So exactly. So Klaassen will either counter attack and make it work, or he'll die trying. So I'm
Correct.
waiting for that. Sooner or later, there has to be that game where one or two wickets fall, pretty much in the power play or something for SRH, and that is when I think we will know just how much of gumption they have uh, to keep hitting.
Yeah. Another thing that's interesting is that most of the runs they get are the others are not scoring that much. I mean, if you see, these are all first inning scores, which means the other teams have not cracked the score of getting to 250, 260, and not like they don't have the firepower. I mean, I see Mumbai Indians easily as one of the teams that could do this. RCB can do it, given the form that Kohli is in another state of mind. If you go by the last innings that he played on in the opening game. And then Pant is waiting to prove himself with Lucknow.
Yeah,
So it looks like we could have that, but there's still, if you see, there's only KKR that has gotten to 270 and RCB has
yeah.
gotten to 260. Punjab, that's a bit of a one time, but nobody is really consistently getting to that 270, 280, which these guys are doing, which is amazing. I'm really waiting to see the 300. You think it's coming very soon?
Look, you could argue both ways, right? Uh, One way to argue is you're 286. You were maybe two, three boundary hits away from reaching that 300 in this match itself. The other way of arguing, like I said, I thought the bowling was prodigal. I thought the fielding was very wonky. So maybe
Hmm.
286 is a flattering score for them. But the way to really
Yeah.
look at it is, with five out of six batsmen scoring at more than 200 and the sixth batsman scoring at 200, and all these gifts, you're still getting only to 286. 300 is not as
Yeah.
easy as it sounds. So it'll take
True.
at least two batsmen, and my picks would be, either the openers or one of the openers and Klassen. To go completely nuts on us is
Yeah.
probably the only
Yeah.
way, that you'll have to play at a 300 strike rate and play some 20, 30 deliveries to actually make that 300 happen. I don't think it's as
That's
easy
true.
as, I mean, you're looking at all these scores and saying, look, it's just, 14 runs away. 300 is just, how big is 14 runs? Yeah. One or two sixes, fours, you're done. One six and two fours, and you would have reached 300 in this
Yeah.
thing.
But these guys are maxing their sixes. I mean, last
Yeah,
season, Abhishek got about 42 sixes, which is what he's not done in the previous editions put together. So,
correct.
he's really pushed himself. I mean, it's been an outlier. The number of sixes he hit in the last season were an outlier, really, performance for him.
But
So,
I
yeah, I
think
think in a sense,
also,
you're right.
yeah, I think SRH, their game plan now revolves around, they are looking at six first, and then it is four if you can't get a six. ठीक है चलो, four से काम निपट लेंगे. But basically, yeah, they're just looking to hit sixes. This is a good ploy in IPL. I mean, it's a very boring spectacle, to be honest, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's what it is, I guess. Now it's up to the other teams to
Right.
figure out, A, how to stop them from hitting sixes, and B, how to hit sixes against them. So, if you
Right. But do
notice,
you think, yeah.
the opposition this time actually hit more sixes than SRS did. If I read the score, if I
Yeah,
remember the
actually, come to think of
scoreboard
it.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
they
were
did.
36s, and I think SRH hit 12.
Yeah, but I think they broke the record for maximum fours. I think that was 34, if I'm not wrong,
Yeah,
which is the highest in any
yeah,
T20 game ever. So
yeah,
I think they made up for what they missed out on the sixes. They made up with the boundaries,
yeah,
and that's the reason why, if you look at the betting wheel or what the probability is, it looks like Sunrisers are the favorites at 18.2. I mean, they're ahead of Mumbai Indians, CSK. That's huge, given the fact that,
yeah.
and KKR is at a lowly 8.79. I'm struggling to understand that.
KKR, I mean, they played superbly well last time and they won, but I'm not particularly convinced by the team that they have this time around. I keep seeing too many vulnerabilities, too many reasons why. Uh, Look, you can't have a team that, again, I mean, it's a point that you made earlier. If your star bowler or your star wicket taker is going to be Varun Chakravarti with assistance from Sunil Narayan, every team is going to prepare for this, and they're going to give you
True.
wickets which will not turn. So with that, I think you have a big problem. And Varun Chakravarti, like I said, is the kind of bowler who, if there is no turn off the deck, he'll get taken big time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I
So
think
I
even
don't I
this
don't
game,
really see.
KKR really got to that. I think KKR got to this total also because of the artist. I think I was really blown away by Ajinkya Rahane's innings. I think it was beautiful to watch. And in a he was like a painter, like an artist in this whole graffiti scribblers. Everyone going for power. It's just beautiful sixes, beautiful shots. It was just lovely to see him. I really miss that he's not playing Test cricket for India. Just really, really, really upsets me. Firstly, because I'm a Mumbaiker, but secondly, that I think he's just still so ready and he's still looking in such good touch. He was beautiful to watch.
He's always a very stylish player. He doesn't seem to. He's a bit like KL Rahul in that he doesn't seem to need a lot of
Yeah,
effort and sweat and all of that. Times the ball beautifully, picks the right length very fast. Uh, Even when he was playing for India, I think he was their most underrated batsman. But he'd constantly come and make the difference. I still keep thinking of that Sydney innings, not the century he
oof,
scored, the previous thing, but that little cameo that he came and played completely changed the complexion of the game. And then Rishabh Pant came in and took it home. Uh,
that's true. Yeah,
that's what he's capable of. He'll suddenly come there, and irrespective of what format of the match it is, if he wants to hit shots, he's got all the shots in the book. And I think, yeah, KKR has given him license to go out there and do his thing. So it should be fun to watch.
yeah. I mean, and I think
But
the turnaround really happened in the way he bats now in the T20 format. Is those couple of seasons with CSK? I think Dhoni
yeah,
just brought out something in him that he was very within himself, within the shell. But I think those 2 seasons really helped him. And I remember, if I'm not wrong, Dhoni used to be very critical of him when he was part of the one day side. When Dhoni was
yeah,
the captain, and he used to say that Ajinkya needs to work on his running between getting the singles. He lacks that. And, but these 2 seasons with CSK, I think did was wonderful for him. And now that you see
yeah,
him leading the KKR team, it was a big call. I mean, Venki was an obvious choice to be
yeah.
the captain, but for them to make the call and give Ajinkya the mantle of captaincy was amazing. I'm really going to see. I'm really expecting some big things from him this season.
Yeah, and he's a very shrewd captain.
Oh
If you
yeah,
remember, yeah, he's whatever the format, he's a very smart. His field setting is always something that I keep an eye on. Yeah, it should be fun. I wish KKR had a more balanced attack. I wish they had some serious pace, uh, particularly when they go touring.
yeah.
But by the way, you showed that betting wheel. I've been saying my favorites are SRH. I'm glad to find that they're a point plus ahead of the next competition.
Yeah, we should see that. We should see that wheel again. It's amazing. 18.2 for
Yeah.
Sunrisers. Mumbai Indians are at 17.2. Even though they did terribly last time, they were terrible the last season. Chennai Super Kings is the next one, and then it's all single figures for everyone.
But the
Gujarat,
funny thing
Punjab.
is, am I, they're giving a high rating. I think a lot of it is going to depend on just when Bumrah will come back into the side.
That's
Initially,
true.
they
Yeah,
said 3 matches, but he's still in rehab. He's at NCA. And from whatever I've heard, he isn't anywhere close to match fitness yet.
yeah.
He's just, he's working
He's the
more on.
only.
I mean, what I heard is that he's working more on back strengthening, core strengthening, and all the rest of it, as opposed to actually bowling flat out. So
Yeah.
he's just coming off a short run and just going through the motions to keep in touch. But which means that he may not be available for 4 or 5 games, and that is going to prove crucial for Mumbai Indians. They might have a
Yeah.
lot to make up for once he comes back.
Yeah, and in fact, Shane Bond has also mentioned that if you recuperate, you can't have a back procedure again so soon.
Yeah,
So he needs to be
yeah,
very careful from test coming into T20 format, and that's a big worry
yes.
for them. But having said that, Rajesh Gupta, a great analyst, statistician, sent me some numbers the other day, and he's the only bowler who's bowled more than 100 balls, and still in power play he gives just 6 runs and over. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. Unbelievable. There's no one else who's bowled more than 100 balls and is anywhere close to six. All are seven, seven and a half, eight. The best of the best. Shami, you name anyone. Cummins, Stark, who had such a wonderful time last season. Nobody comes close to him in the power play of an IPL. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, Bumrah fully fit, back on the park. You suddenly estimate Mumbai Indians' chances that, I mean, you promptly add another 30-40% to their
That's true.
chances. But by the same token, if he's not on the park, you reduce it by that much. Even if Hardik comes back, you still need that Jasprit Bumrah at the top of the bowling order to really enforce your thing. Then the rest of the bowlers can actually follow in that slipstream. But
Correct.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see when he comes in.
Well, we've been talking about the batsman Bumrah now. I'm really, really intrigued to talk to you about this new rule that's come up, Prem. I find it very intriguing, funny, all at once. I find it a bit stupid also about firstly being allowed to use saliva, which is a good thing. Mohammad Shami will be smiling. But that other rule of you can change the ball, they're going to use two balls and then you can change the ball at the 15th over, 16th over mark. What's all that, Prem? I find that there's room for subjectivity, and of course, the bookmakers and punters will have a field day betting now on when the new ball will be taken at the 15th or the 16th over.
Yeah, that is one part. Look, one thing I have against the IPL is they keep tinkering for no reason. Uh, they brought in that impact sub thing, which I absolutely hate, because picking the team for the conditions is supposed to be one of the skill sets of the captain, the management, the team management, all of that. You have an impact sub, and look at the way you're doing impact subs. No? Travis Head is going off, and Travis Head, by the way, bowls off spin. But you take Travis Head off so that you can bring in Zampa. You take Sanju. I mean,
Yeah,
Sanju Samson only comes into bat,
yeah.
and Rohit Sharma goes out, and Vinesh Puthur comes in as a pure bowler. I don't like that thing at all because it's skewing the game a bit too much. Cricket is supposed to be 11 players against 11 players, not 12
And
against
it's the
12. But
only
right
game,
now,
and it's the only game, Prem, where a captain still matters. I think this is
yeah,
increasingly becoming like soccer, where the manager and the coach really has the say in what's happening. I mean, even I find it
correct.
surprising that a Sanju Samson is sitting when he should be leading his flock and taking them together. What's he doing sitting on the bench? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and in Sanju's case, apparently he has an injury, so he doesn't want to aggravate it by keeping. But then he shouldn't be playing. I mean,
That's true.
anyway, that aside, the new rules look like you said that saliva rule. In any case, if you want to, put your hand in your mouth and then rub it on a ball which has been running around all over the field, and then put your hand in your mouth again for a second helping of saliva, that's your problem. This second ball for the second inning, new rule of a second ball for the second innings of a match. The big problem I have with it, in the first place, I don't see why they need the rule because it's 20 overs. Yeah, how much is the ball going to do? But never mind all that. My single biggest
Prem
problem
is the
is it is
due.
left.
Is the due factor, Prem, is the due factor. The ball gets difficult to grip for the bowler, and the spinners then completely get out of the equation.
Granted, but it's part of the playing conditions. No, these are things that you budget for. These are things that you practice for. But
Yes.
more to the point, my problem is this: it's not going to happen in every match, right? Secondly, it is up
Correct.
to the umpires to judge the quantum of due and then decide whether a new ball. This is going to cause If the
Yes.
umpire takes the new ball, the batting side will complain. If the umpire doesn't give the new ball, the a different ball, the bowling side will complain. This is just going to cause
True.
ructions right across the IPL. Whenever there is due, there will be this thing of the bowling side will want a new ball, and the batting side will say, no, the ball is absolutely fine. You can't have that kind of variables and then leave that variable to the discretion of whoever happens to be officiating.
Umpire. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, because there is
that.
a lot of room for the big guns in Indian cricket. Some of the big players to intimidate an umpire and force him to change his decision.
Yeah,
And we've
yeah,
seen it happen many times. I mean, Dhoni's lost his cool. Kohli's walked on, and Dhoni's
yeah,
walked onto the pitch in the middle of a game. So
yeah.
that can really be intimidating for an umpire. He's anyway under pressure because DRS really makes him look silly sometimes when a decision goes against what he's given on the field, and this is really adding to it now because there will be a lot of
And
argument, lot of negotiation going on.
and see, it's not just overt intimidation, right? I mean, I don't want to name the umpire, but I did speak to one who was probably India's best umpire for a long time before he retired. And he said, when you're standing in a match, depending on the weight of the team, I'm not talking of the quality of the team, but the perception of the team, there's always pressure to rule in their favor. It is not that somebody tells you to rule in their favor, but that
Wow.
inside your head, he says, there is just, you just might unconsciously favor certain teams more than certain other teams. So what he's saying, for example, is if an India is playing against a New Zealand or something, the chances are that you probably weight your decisions in favor of India. DRS has pulled out a lot of those things because you can always appeal the decision. But here, there
Correct.
is no appeal, right? The umpire decides to
Yeah.
change the ball. The umpire decides to change the ball. What are you going to do about it?
But Prem, doesn't it also make it easier to hit the ball if the ball is you get a slightly fresher ball, slightly harder, and wouldn't it be
See,
easier for the batsman also to hit? So in a sense, it again is balancing it. It's not like it's completely something that will help the bowler 100% because the ball it's
it
always
helps the
easier to hit
bowler.
when the ball is not soft and
Yeah, it'll help the bowler for 1 over. See, the thing is, if the dew is heavy enough that after 10 overs, they said that you can change it from the 11th over onwards, right? So if the
Mhm.
dew is heavy enough that the ball is getting soggy by 10 overs, then chances are that by the time you start bowling with a replacement ball, 2 overs later, that ball is also going to get soggy.
That's true.
So none of this seems to have been thought through. It's like, okay, let's do this. So somebody had a
So
bright
what should
idea.
have been done, Prem? What should have been done then? According to you, what do you
No,
think is the thing?
see, my thing is, there are lots of these variables. That's one of the things about cricket, right? As opposed to say other team sports like hockey or football or
Yeah.
something, where conditions don't really come into play that much, or if they do, it is the same for both. I mean, we've seen football matches, even at the World Cup level, being played in pouring rain, but the rain is not pouring
Yeah.
on one half of the pitch and not on the other. It's the same for everybody, right?
Right.
In cricket, a lot of the game is about conditions. For instance, you're making a choice about whether to bat first or bowl first. You're looking for whether there is an overcast, which means that it'll swing. You win the toss. You want to bowl first. Why? Because there will be swing in the beginning, which will go away, or sometimes it's the other way around, right? In some stadia, the lights will provide a certain assistance to the bowlers, so you want to
Yes.
bowl
Yes.
second. All of these are things that you calculate and you budget for,
Yeah.
or
That's
teams
true.
are supposed to calculate and budget for. So what exactly are you doing by trying to, how many of these variables are you going to take out of the equation? Now you're trying to take due out of the equation. You're not going to be able to do it because, like I said, 2 overs, even 1 over, if you keep hitting the ball, it's going to run all over that dew and get soggy.
True.
So
Yeah.
that is not going to change anything. The second part of it is, okay, tell me something. Normally, when we change the ball, a 20 over ball, so what they do is they bring out replacement balls of more or less that same,
Like to like. Yeah. Yeah. With the
like to
same
like,
age,
right?
that the same number of
Ah.
overs. Yeah. Like to like.
So here, what are you going to do? Are you going to bring a ball that got soggy in the previous match and so you've saved it for a replacement
No.
ball,
No.
or are you
There.
going to bring a brand new ball?
without the dew. It'll be the ball which will be dry. It'll be a dry ball. That's basically what they're trying to achieve. They get a dry ball,
So you'll need
which will get wet
a
in an over.
which will get wet in an over. But here's the thing: you're changing it at the 11th over. Are you going to get a 11 over old ball? Do you have that kind of supply with you?
I
If
guess
you're going to
they're
change
gonna
it,
have those.
if you're going to change it at 15, do you have 15 overall balls that you're keeping ready for such an eventuality? What exactly were you thinking? And like I said, in some cases, the light does affect the way you bowl.
True.
So how are you going to balance that out now in the next IPL season?
Yeah, it's going to be a big challenge.
So
That's true.
I think these things, that's part of the fun of cricket, right? All these variables come in, and despite your best planning and all of that, it can screw with your game plans, and you have to calculate for this. You have to practice for some of these things. There are actual, I know bowlers who are even playing for India, for instance, who actually dip the
Correct.
ball in soapy water and practice
In fact, I think the
because,
ball is the single most important thing in the sport. I mean, the
yeah,
bats don't really matter that much. There's uniformity in them, but the nature of the ball and how you keep it, how you maintain it. I mean, that's how reverse swing came about. That's how Dusra came about. In fact, I was reading Moeen Ali saying that the one-day cricket format is really dying because of two of the reasons. One is that they've got now
two
balls from
balls.
two ends, so they've got two
Yeah,
balls, and the second is this extra fielder that they put outside the ring, which really makes it so difficult for those at the end to really get those big runs. And that's really taken a lot of the sheen away from one day cricket. And I think with T20, with this new rule, I just hope something like that doesn't happen because we don't know what's going to happen, what's going to be the difference. Are the batsmen going to have an added advantage, or are the bowlers really going to get one back and get some semblance of balance in the IPL format? Because it's become too many sixes and too many tall scores. After a while, it gets to you. You want to see a good
yeah.
contest also, a good 160, 170, or 150 being defended.
Yeah, I don't know how this ball change is going to play out in actual match play and what difference it's going to make. We'll see that sooner or later. But one thing I'm fairly
Yeah.
sure is that there's going to be a lot of post-match conferences where one captain or the other will say the ball was changed and that didn't work for us and that shouldn't have been done and blah blah blah. It's definitely going to happen. One team or the other is definitely going. Every single time the ball is changed, I'll guarantee you, one team is going to be unhappy.
Yeah, we're going to have to look at the press conferences very closely. We'll have lots of
Yeah,
content to discuss then. It should be
yeah,
fun, Prem. I'm really looking
yeah.
forward to this season.
Not just press conferences. You will have the batting side or the bowling side arguing with the umpire on the field of play. The bowling
That's
side will
true.
say, I
Yeah,
want the ball
yeah.
changed. The umpire will say, no, it can't be changed. And then somebody will come in and say, what the hell is this? No, we want it changed. All of that is going to happen.
And it's all
Some,
good because
some,
the drama helps. Drama helps. TV happy and broadcasters happy. Advertisers will be happy. This is the IPL. Remember, they all will be
you know
happy.
who's,
They
you
all
know
will
who's
be.
not going to be happy about this? Me.
Who?
It's 12:20 right now. I mean, these games go on long enough. On top of that, if you're going to have these disruptions, and by the way, now the disruptions can happen because they've also brought in that other rule saying that the captain will not be banned for slow over rates and all of that.
Yeah, yeah. So he won't be worried. It's just a fine.
Yeah, and the fine is not. He's not going to pay the fine. His franchise will pay the
The
fine.
franchise will.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll foot the
Huh.
bill. Franchise will foot the bill. So it's cool. Great. On
Anyway,
that note, Prem, looking
yeah.
forward to this crazy 6 weeks now that are coming up. Sorry, you're going to have to watch all that cricket over the next 2 months. So, people, please
My
like,
picks.
subscribe. Prem's here for
Yeah.
the next 2 months. We can torture him enough.
There's that, yeah. I mean, if that's a good reason to like, please like, subscribe, send in your comments, do all of the, good stuff. And we'll see you next Sunday.
Next Sunday race. See you, Prem. Thank you all.
See you. Take care. Good night.
Hit a long way. Out on the run is Larry.